Welcome to Veterans on the Homefront. I'm your host, Kevin Keller. Today our discussion is all about how the Veteran Service Officers, VSOs, process veterans' paperwork for disability claims and any other information that would be, of course, helpful. Our guest today is Marine Corps League Veteran Service Officer David Owesley, who is from the Cincinnati VA. And David, did you serve?
Yes, I did. I served just under 5 years in the Army, and I was a plumber, pipe fitter, and artillery, field artillery, and a combat engineer. Kind of bounced around a little bit, and kind of got into that, and then I got medically discharged back in 2004.
You were a plumber and what else?
Artillery.
You went from plumber to artillery?
Yeah, well, I like to work with, I guess, pipes. I guess.
Evidently, yeah. From small to very large artillery
Yes.
pieces. Okay.
Yes. So.
I did 6 years in 11th Marines artillery with in the Marine Corps. So,
Okay. Nice.
But alrighty. So years of service. Where were you stationed?
I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. A lovely place in the middle of nowhere. Very hot, very dry,
Yes.
and not a lot to do. But still found a way to get in a little bit of trouble, but it was good times.
Yeah, it's a veteran thing. Yeah, we're good. You're usually good at that. Alrighty. Since we're talking about veteran service officers, what made you want to become a VSO?
Well, I got discharged in 2005, and I had some health issues, and I filed my first claim, and I got approved for 10% for, I believe it was tinnitus, and then that's it. And then I got a chance to look at my medical records, and I saw some of my health issues that I had, and I'm like, okay. So I filed for those, and I got bumped up to 30%. And I was told by my cardiologist at the time, I have a heart issue, that I should be higher. So I kept fighting and fighting, and it took me from 2005 until 2022, which is unfortunate. It was just the time frame with everything going on. But I learned a lot about the process. And learned how to file appeals, how to do a lot of stuff. I started going to the Marine Corps League. They were actually my VSOs back in 2012 when I first moved to the Cincinnati area, and really enjoyed them. And when the previous VSO from Cincinnati retired during the COVID time frame, they were looking for somebody. And I felt I went and did an interview with all the knowledge that I had of fighting for my own claim, and they decided to hire me. So, and I'm here to help veterans. I know the struggle going from day one, that I kind of know the struggle that I had to go through. So I kind of want to be there to help keep the veterans from having to deal with that struggle while we're doing it.
So, key thing to take out of that: keep fighting no matter how long it takes, because
Absolutely.
you just never know, and it'll work out. It can work out. It just sometimes it takes forever to get that to that point.
Correct, and the reason I say get a VSO, and I'll always put it out there, is VSOs kind of deal with all these things on a weekly basis, daily basis, and in the process of doing that, we kind of learn how to get around certain issues and stuff. When you do it on yourself, if you mess up on the paperwork, the claim could get denied just because of a mistake on the paperwork, and we kind of want to prevent that. And one more thing that I'd like to say is never hire a lawyer. A lawyer cannot do anything that a National Veteran Service Officer cannot do. The rules are the rules, and just because it's a lawyer doesn't mean they can do special things. We do it for free, and we don't charge anything, and that's the benefit of
That's
VSOs.
the key there. You can go to lawyer, you go to lawyer, you go to lawyer, but the VSOs are free. Lawyers are not.
Correct.
And it's going to cost you. Lawyers aren't cheap, just the way it is, no matter what you do. But it is what it is. So definitely go see your VSOs. And if you get a VSO that you don't agree with or you don't like the decision, you can always go see a different VSO.
That's correct.
I mean, you just like anything, you're going to find good and bad one in anything you do in life. So if you have something where it doesn't work out, then go see another VSO and work with me.
Yeah.
So it will work out. You just got to get the right VSO to do the paperwork. So, and in the Marine Corps League, just to let everybody know, we have 4 VSOs in the state of Ohio.
Correct.
David is in Cincinnati, VA. Mike Reed is here in Dayton, Ohio. Don
Perry.
Thank you, is in Columbus, and then Tim
Sherman.
Tim Sherman is up in Cleveland. Sorry about that, Tim. We've talked about this kind of vaguely through this, but you're representing the Marine Corps League as a veteran service officer, but you're Army.
Correct.
So you're an associate member, not auxiliary, associate members. So since you're representing the Marine Corps League, do you only serve Marines or?
No, we serve veterans, every single veteran from any branch of service. Our goal is to help all veterans. It just happens that we fall under the Marine Corps League umbrella, and that they help us make sure that we have what we need to be successful as veteran service officers, and just happens to be called the Marine Corps League. There's other VSOs out there, as we all know, like the DAV, AMVETS, and all that stuff, and they work under, we're just the same as them, just the name is the Marine Corps League.
But we're Marines, so it is, right, that is what it is.
Gets done quicker and faster.
So, yes, and I know your boss, so it's one way or another it will. Okay, so you're a veteran service officer, you're in Cincinnati, so do you only help people in Cincinnati, or do you have like an area that you can only help?
Actually registered as a National Veteran Service Officer, so I can work at anybody in the nation. And I have veterans in Spain that I work with, Germany. I currently have a veteran in Idaho that I'm working with, some in Kentucky, Indiana, all over Ohio. So even Virginia, because as the VSOs are growing on the national level, we're getting people, and I'm able to assist because of my seniority of doing this and stuff like that. So I can help anybody, but I would recommend that as once we get started, if there is a Marine Corps League VSO in your local area, that we would recommend that you go talk to them, so that way they can be more hands-on and talk to you face to face and kind of do things that way.
And just let everybody know, the Marine Corps League, like the state of Ohio's had Marine Corps League, veteran service officers in here for numerous years and been doing outstanding. So National Marine Corps League is doing now where they're exploding all over the United States, veteran service officers. So if you don't have a veteran service officer in the Marine Corps League in your area, you can look them up, or you can give us a call, National Marine Corps League or whomever, local detachment, department, or state level in your state, and ask them about it, see if there's a veteran service officer in that state. If not, there will be. We're getting there.
Yes.
So say for you in Cincinnati, somebody wants to come, you got a walk-in basis, you got to call, make an appointment. I mean, I know you guys are really busy no matter where you're at.
Yeah. So in Cincinnati, we have it set up for appointment only. But if you're there and I do not have a veteran scheduled, or I got done early with a veteran and I have the time, I'll take you on a walk-in basis, but we'd like to have it scheduled so that way I can kind of be prepared for whatever we're going to do for you, whether it's whatever the claim is. I can have some information on how we need to do this and have what I need to tell you as a veteran to understand the process and stuff like that. And it just makes it a little bit easier when I have an appointment. But I do walk-ins as are available. Like, so if I'm down for free. I know Dayton is walk-in on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is there. Mike Reed's a very, very good VSO, and I think Cleveland is appointment, and I think Donnie over in Columbus, I think he does walk-ins and appointments. He tries to do appointments, but he does do walk-ins as well if he's got the time.
Yeah, I gotta say Mike Reed's good. He's my VSO, so he did me outstanding, so took care of me.
And I trained him.
You trained him? Well, we won't give you the credit, but I'm gonna give Mike the credit. But
All
okay,
right.
It's all good. No worries. Say I called to make an appointment with you to file a claim. What is it that the veteran needs to bring with them?
So the biggest thing is you're gonna have to bring your DD-214, unless you've already been service connected before, and you've already have a rating, and you're just trying to increase it. If it's the first time you're ever going to be filing a claim, you want to bring your DD-214, a blank voided check that has your routing number and your account number that you're going to want the money to be deposited into. And if you have civilian doctors that you see, then you can you bring their name, whatever they treat you for, and their contact information, like their address, phone number, and stuff like that, so we can put in a request for records, so that way they can get treatment records for that condition that we're going to file the claim for.
Alrighty, so if you got it and you can bring it, great, because that'll help the process quicker. So I like to bring this up, and a myth about the VA. It's not really about the VSOs, but the VA receives so much money per veteran. So those veterans out there, and I know one personally, my best friend back in Illinois, he hasn't done it yet since he's been out since '89. Go to the VA, get your VA ID card, no matter what, get registered. The VA is only going to receive so much money per veteran. So you're not taking money from another veteran, you're actually hurting. It's actually just the opposite, at least in my opinion. So if you get a chance, go get your ID card, go register, do your 1 year or every 2 year appointments, and get it in there, get going. It's going to be a lot better process. If you don't like the place you're at, find another CBOC or community-based outreach facility, or the VA hospital, whatever the case you may be. Find a better one, and go in and ask for a new doctor, if nothing else. I've done it multiple times.
I always tell veterans that are apprehensive about filing claims or going to the VA, you're actually helping your buddies out. It's you know, a lot of veterans are like, well, they're always concerned about other veterans,
Right.
You know, taking money from veterans or this or that. And the fact of the matter is, the more veterans that are registered, the bigger our voice is with Congress, Senate, and everything when it comes to when they're going to do stuff. They want to be able to say, hey, you know, look, we have 10 million veterans, and if you got 7 million out there that aren't coming, that's 17 million veterans that they're going to be like, okay, we need to make sure we take care of them so that, you know, they take care of us. So I think it's very important to always get involved in the system, because it makes our numbers greater and makes us a louder voice to be heard.
Very, very, very true. And like the Dayton VA, if you look at them, there's not only just a hospital there, they do celebrations, or we just had the 20th stand down there just a couple days ago, and it was over 300 people, I understand, 300 veterans came through there. I was there all day with them, helping them out, trying to anyway. So it was outstanding. I thought it was outstanding. It was my first stand down, but I mean, they got a lot going on, parades, car shows, you name it, at least in the Dayton one does.
Yeah.
So check out nothing else, come down to Dayton, we'll take you.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll
absolutely.
take you. Okay, so my main appointment, brought you all the things I possibly can. What is be our next step to file a claim or in our process?
So the first thing we're going to do, the first paperwork we're going to do is called an appointment of a veteran service officer, where it gives the Marine Corps League as a whole the rights to file claims on your behalf, access your service treatment records, your military records, and kind of see stuff that's already been done for you. If you've already had claims in the past, what I'll usually do is we call it a power of attorney, but it's very, very limited in scope. And I'll also do an intent to file, which saves that date as your initial filing date. They will reach out to you within 10 to 20 days, schedule an appointment with doctors for your claim. A lot of times now they're starting to send them out to outside doctors. There's so many veterans being helped. So it just kind of frees up the VA doctors to continue working with the veterans. And what happens then is they kind of make a decision. The doctors will see you, give their opinion, submit that back. They have 30 days from when they see you to submit it back to the Veterans Benefits Administration, who will then at that point in time, they take a couple months, they kind of go over it, look at the CFR to see where your rating should be at based on the severity of your injuries or illnesses, and then they send you a letter in the mail stating, this is your rating, or we disagree, we don't think that this is service connected, at which point in time we would file appeals or higher level reviews or stuff along the lines of that.
On mine last year when I did my upgrade, it was 2 or 3 appointments, and they were all civilians.
Yeah.
All civilians outside the VA, of course. I liked it better than actually going to the VA. That part, as far as that process goes.
But sometimes some veterans say they feel like it's it's nice to have the separation from a VA doctor, so they know that they're getting a true medical opinion.
Yeah, I think I could probably go with that too. I don't know. It just felt, I don't know. It felt, I don't know, better or less connected. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it was. I don't know, but it was really good. I don't have no problem with my VA, my doctor, my VA at the VA at all. So this came in a while, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not for sure. The PACT Act.
Correct.
It's just why we talk about that briefly.
The PACT Act, like I said, really focused on the conditions that were coming back from the Southwest Asian theater, Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, and all the areas that were over there. And so what it did was it brought some conditions that are presumptive conditions. So if you have these conditions, it is presumed that it was caused by your military service. And there's a list of them available online. If you go onto the VA website, they have a list of them. I can give you a couple. Couple of the main ones that I see all the time are like asthma, bronchitis, sinusitis, some cancers. There's like a list of like probably 15 cancers or so that serving in the Southwest Asian theater of the Middle East also gives you a higher risk of getting those because of the burn pits. It covers the burn pits and all the other chemicals and stuff that were over there and in the sand and stuff like that.
Yeah, in Desert Storm, I was in Desert Storm and 2 tours of Iraq, and we had the oil fires and with all that in Desert Storm, and then we had the burn pits and everything else in Iraq, or in Iraq while I was at. So, yeah, and then of course you got the Camp Lejeune water thing happened back in, but I was there for that, the end of that, last 4 years for that. So, I'm sure there's other places that are probably bases on there that have probably come up since then, though, too.
Yeah, I think like the UAE, like some of the other places, because a lot of the Air Force, they go to the other areas on the outskirts because they usually do they're like doing flights and stuff like that. So it's a little bit less. They want them a little bit away from the actual combat immediate area on some of their jobs. So there was veterans going into places and still exposed to some of the contaminants and stuff, but just not directly in the countries that we were actually fighting.
So as far as the PACT Act, I would say a good thing for the veterans because it brings a lot of stuff from the past, especially Vietnam veterans that have been, to me, not taken care of as well as they should have been, Korea,
Correct.
Vietnam, and up to current. This PACT Act is, I think, seems to me has kind of helped all of our veterans.
And go as far as saying it's great because it's putting presumptive conditions. Like a lot of Vietnam veterans, like you're talking about, they weren't treated the best when they came back. They weren't getting the best care, and a lot of their conditions were not presumptive like they are now. And by getting these conditions in the PACT Act presumptive as quick as they have, the veterans that are coming back now are not going to have to fight to say, hey, look, this is related to my service over there, because they saw such a spike in these conditions from the veterans coming back from that area that they immediately were like, okay, these conditions are related to their service over there.
We're looking at usually 10%, if I'm not, is that usually,
it-
not always? But
Not always. It could be, there's some zeros, like hypertension with the Vietnam veterans. Unless your blood pressure is, I think it's the upper number has to be above 160 and the lower number has to be above 100 in order for it to be a 10% rating.
Okay.
And then they have their levels of hypertension, like how high that is and stuff like that. Some of these conditions, like if you have asthma, but you're not like, I think asthma might be like a 10% or a 30% minimum, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I see so many numbers every day on stuff like that. So.
Okay, now say a veteran does this presumptive, they get 0%. Now they're going to go, seriously? That's all I got, 0%?
0% is phenomenal. It is better than a denial, because denial means we don't think it's service connected. But when you have a 0% service connection, all your medical costs involved with that condition are covered by the VA. Medicines, treatments, and everything like that. It gets your foot in the door. They have a base level to where they're seeing where your treatment level's at. And as time goes by, it's probably going to get worse, which is going to be able to file for increases and get the numbers up to 10, 20, 30, 50, 70, and hopefully at some point in time, 100% for veterans that have conditions that are warranting that.
So just a key thing there, if you get 0% or 10%, keep your VSO's phone number and email address, and if you go into the doctor, make sure that if you have a problem, remind them, let them know that don't go to the VA doctor or any doctor and say, "Oh, I'm good."
Yeah.
If you're hurting, if you've got problems, make sure you always tell them, "Hey, I've got this." I've talked to a Navy vet the other day. "Hey, my shoulder," they said, but he's never said anything to the doctor. Say something to the doctor when you're in there. If you got something, you got hurt in the military and it's bothering you, say something.
Yeah.
Don't, so you've got a history of it. If you don't say anything, they're gonna look at it and go, "Well, you never complained about it." Complain about it.
Like if they say like bend your elbow until you got pain, they don't mean unbearable pain. They mean
Yes.
the first sign of pain, because nobody's supposed to have pain when they bend their arm.
Right.
So the moment you feel pain, you say, "It hurts here. I can continue, but the pain gets worse the more I bend."
Right.
So, because of what a lot of veterans do, well, they'll just go in there and be like, "Bend until it hurts," and they'll be like, "Oh, I can do this," but it hurts the whole time they're moving it.
Right.
And so the doctors can't know that. So you have to be your own advocate and voice for that. So if there's any pain, this is where the pain starts, and this is how far I can go in pain before I can't go any further.
Which is another key thing is if they tell you to bend your arm and until it hurts, and you don't bend it because it hurts without bending it, you let them know, "Hey, it hurts right now. If I don't do anything."
Absolutely.
Because I've had that problem myself, and so don't go crazy and try to kill yourself or hurt yourself in any way, shape, or form on these tests. If they say do it till it hurts and you don't do anything, then you're good. I mean, that's where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
Are there any other services the VSO can provide besides just filing a claim for disability?
Yes, we can help with survivor's benefits. If you die from a service-connected disability and you're married and you have children that are under certain ages, depending on education, if they're in the process of education, either high school or still in college, you can file for what's called survivor's benefits. And it tends to be a percentage of whatever your service-connected rating is. But it has to be, you have to have passed away from the service-connected disability. And so there's that. Then there's also like aid in attendance. We can file for that. So if a veteran's disability gets worse and gets to the point to where they cannot perform activities of daily living, we can file the paperwork so that they can get nurses coming in, or the spouse can be paid to take care of the veteran. There's different levels of stuff for that. And then on top of that, death benefits, burials. I know you had the guy from the Dayton Cemetery here. Kind of the process of that, kind of work out that way and kind of help get the tombstones and stuff like that and flags, and we can kind of guide you in that direction as well.
Again, the thing is registration. You got to be registered with the VA for a lot of the stuff we're talking about. You have to have registration with the VA. You go to the VA, get your card, get it registered. And we was at the before about pre-burial benefits. You can register now before you pass away, so when it comes time, it's going to be easier for your family to take care of you and provide you what you really want. Okay, how about the families? What can they? Is there anything in the families can receive in the household? What more on that would be more than what you've talked about, or is there?
To a degree, there is. Like at 30%, you get dependent. You get an additional dollar amount based on how many dependents you have. If you're married, if you have 5 kids, 3 kids, it's all changes depending on how many kids you have. But you have to be at least 30% service connected for that to even matter. Once you reach 100%, there are a lot of benefits. Like there's education benefits for your children. If you're 100% and your kids are going to school, there's a stipend right now. I believe my daughter is getting it, and it's like $1,500 a month stipend while she's in college, to help offset the cost of college a little bit. And a good thing in the state of Ohio is we have what's called the Ohio War Orphan Fund. And it is, if you're 60% or greater service-connected veteran, The Ohio Orphan Fund will pay up to 100% of tuition and fees for state schools, and then they have a set dollar amount every year for private schools. I think this year it was like around 75% or 80% of tuition and fees, and it's all dependent on budget. So it's a good program to get involved in if you're at least 60% service connected and your kids are going to go to college. Yeah, the education and the survivor benefits and stuff like that as well. And then if you're 100% as well, you can get your wife on CHAMP VA, and I believe your children as well, which is health care, which can reduce your health care costs dramatically if you're 100% service connected.
Okay, Dave, that's about done with this.
Can I say one more thing real quick? When it comes to filing for disabilities, you want to make sure that you have a diagnosis for most of the conditions. There's a few conditions like hearing, PTSD and stuff, but the VABA prefers that you have a diagnosis from a doctor. It'll make it go by a lot quicker. It'll make the process a lot easier.
Right. Thanks for the Department of Ohio Marine Corps League for sponsoring this season. All of these from here on out will be, at least for between September and April, will be Marine Corps League, Department of Ohio sponsored. We're not here for recruiting. We're here for veterans' knowledge, like the VSOs. If you have any ideas, please let us know so we can maybe get something else on there to help out for more information. We're talking about helping for families. The Marine Corps League National has a scholarship for families, and somebody's got to be in the league, of course, and then you file the paperwork, and then the child, there's a 3 or 3.3 or something GPA average on a 4.0 scale. You file it. I know in the past it's been about $900. Varies depending on how everything works out, but there's 50 people to apply for it, and all 50 are qualified. Everybody gets it. There's steps after that you have to take to make sure that you get that check to the college, but make sure that you check that out. And we're not open just to Marines. All of our Navy veterans who serve with the Corps can also join as regular members, and then we have our associate members, which are like Dave out of the Army, Air Force, the other Coast Guard, whatever the case may be. You can join if you meet those qualifications. So again, thank you for Marine Corps League, Department of Ohio for the sponsorship, and Dave, thank you for traveling up to see us and help us out with this. Probably getting back on for the PACT Act.